Oh, there's the in-car camera for Greg Ray. Oh, heavy contact with the wall.
Glad I flew in for this, Sharp. I love you guys. Awesome. Great job, Scotty. Yeah. All right. I bet you know where the checkered lane is, don't you?
Absolutely incredible. A spectacular race, but unfortunately both Davey Hamilton and Robbie McGee, who you saw in those crashes, suffered serious leg injuries, and that sparked a controversy about driving standards in the IRL. Now then, gents, I mean, it's a serious subject, but I mean, that racing, to see it again, spectacularly close racing, dramatically close racing. The fans and television viewers will be in awe of what we've just seen. But is it too dangerous? Were the driving standards too aggressive?
It was hugely exciting. I would always be nervous of running on a high banked oval, as Texas is, 24 degrees, because, and these guys were pulling 217 miles an hour, it just takes the smallest thing and you've got a catastrophe on your hands, as we saw.
But they seem to be prepared to walk that very, very thin knife edge.
There's no question. Particularly Ray and Sharp were really mixing it. It was an aggressive drive on both their parts. You saw in the footage that they were very close to touching wheels, and Eddie was sitting back and he didn't like what he saw.
Rob, I mean, I saw the look on your face. You were watching our footage there. I mean, it's when does it become too dangerous? I mean, a mistake at those speeds is hugely dangerous. What can the officials do to calm a situation like that down? We've seen it in other motorsports before where they've had to have a word. It's naturally sorted itself out because at the end of the day these drivers aren't idiots, and they do, you know, they all campaign to be as safe as possible.
You know, I think so, and I don't think they can do anything about it. That was fantastic, and let's have more of it. Obviously, we don't want the accidents that happen as a result of that kind of mistake or misjudgment, but you know, that was just fantastic racing, and those guys are, you know, doing a fantastic job. It's a very, very thin line that they're treading, or a very, you know, fine line they're walking, and they do a fantastic job doing that most of the time. It's just part of racing, Keith. That's what I think. High speed, banked oval racing. I hope they don't, you know, change that.
Indeed. Well, the spectators certainly enjoyed it, and we had probably one of the best nights here at Sky Sports. Unfortunately, I couldn't be with you. This is the 6th round, though, of the series, and we've had 4 winners in 5 rounds to date. This is how the points table stands at the moment. Sam Hornish Jr., just 21 years old, has a 30-point lead over Eliseo Salazar. Scott Sharp is 10 points adrift in 3rd place. Felipe Giafoni, the rookie there, on 140 points, still in with a shout. Buddy Lazia in 5th, Billy Both 6th, Buzz Colkins in 7th, Greg Ray on 103 in 8th. Jeff Ward is there in 9th, and the luckless Robbie McGee is down there in 10th place on 86 points, and he won't be adding to those this evening, sadly. Now then, point standings looking pretty good. Let's talk a little bit about Sam Hornish, move off onto a positive note. There's a youngster, 21 years old, John. You've seen him come, you've seen him go through your race schools. Just how good does he look to you?
He's looking very good. He's with a great team. He's with the Pennzoil team. Scott Goodyear was there last year. He also has, as a driver coach, Johnny Rutherford, who's been there, done it all. And I think Hornish is in such a points position, he can almost sit back and just watch what happens. But he's not simply doing that. He's maybe not going for the out-and-out win. Certainly he didn't last week where it was very hot competition. But, you know, he can afford to come 3rd.
Well, we can see now live pictures coming in from Colorado. They're just going through the grid for us. And, well, I can only guess what they're saying about this. But, of course, Vail, Colorado is just up the road. And 1 or 2 of the drivers are from the locality of Vail in Colorado. So we'll talk about that as the racing gets underway. And I think that's about enough from us here in the studio as the cars are preparing for the race. It's about to get started very shortly in Colorado, so let's cross over to the US and hear from our American colleagues, Bob Jenkins, Larry Rice and Jason Priestley.
Row number 8, Richie Hearn and Donnie Beachlew, who ran 5th here last year. After last Saturday night's race at Texas, Donnie packed up the motorhome and made his way with his family here to Pikes Peak. Al Unser Jr. and Jeff Ward are in row number 9, and in row number 10, it's Didier Andre and Billy Rowe in his 2nd start of the season. As we told you earlier, it is hot here today. The air temperature is 95 degrees, track temperature 140. There is, as usual here in Colorado, low humidity, but the wind is rather gusty at 15 miles an hour. Here's the stories we'll be watching today, the elements like weather and elevation. The IRL officials have told the drivers to pick a line and hold it. Don't block a faster car behind you. Cheever and Buell have the Infinity engines, and we'll watch Scott Sharp and Greg Ray battle it out for the win. Down to Vince Welch.
So much has been said about Scott Sharp, Eddie Cheever, and Greg Ray on the track, but we'll also be keeping an eye on them off the track. Their pits are located in succession. Sharp, Cheever, Ray, and we've talked about Cheever's comments during the week. Well, you see, someone has placed a magnet on his pit box. No whining allowed. Jack?
Well, Vince, it boils down to a very simple premise. Brian Barnhart in a closed-door drivers' meeting told each and every driver, no second chances, no blocking. What you have to do out there is you find a line, you pick a line, and you stick to it. Bob?
Well, there's the front row. Greg Ray in blue and Scott Sharp in orange and white, getting set to do battle here along with 18 others for 200 laps in the Pikes Peak Indy 200. Pace car is going to be pulling off the track shortly, and we'll be getting the green flag to get this 6th event of the 2001 IRL schedule underway. The crowd rises. They come down and the green is out. Here we go. It's a nice wide racetrack here at Pikes Peak. Greg Ray has taken off into the lead as he leaves Scott Sharp, Sam Hornish, and the others in his dust as they go down the backstretch and into turn number 3 for the first time. And Greg Ray is going to lead. He's now led in 20 IRL races, which now ranks second to Tony Stewart, who led 21 races before he jumped from the series. Greg Ray has also led 5 of the 6 races this year and 17 of the last 23.
And you can see Sam Hornish making a run on Scott Sharp, and it looks like he just got by him for second place.
Those guys work very hard on getting the package that will handle here. The Panther team has been very, very tough on all the 1 mile ovals, and it looks like they're going to be tough here again today.
That lap, 161.6 miles an hour for Hornish. Greg Ray, the leader, ran only a 160.2. So Sam Hornish was the fastest car on the racetrack that past lap.
And Robbie Buell was actually faster than Scott Sharp on that last lap. It's going to be interesting when he comes up and makes a charge for third place himself.
And Sam Hornish now comes up close to the rear wing of Greg Ray as Hornish sets his sights on leading this event. Robbie Buell has indeed moved to 4th position behind Scott Sharp. Buddy Lazier running in 5th spot. Then Calkins, Dismore, Boat, Cheever, and Giafoni complete the top 10 here, as now 4 laps are in the book. And
Bob, it's already a more successful day for Buddy Lazier than it was here a year ago. You may recall he blew an engine on the very first lap of this race last season. Team owner Ron Himmelgarn told me that they just hoped that they had a better day today, as you see the pass for the lead.
Indeed, Sam Hornish has the advantage now, passing Greg Ray entering turn number 3. And Hornish, who of course won the first 2 races this year, as Scott Sharp now comes down to battle Greg Ray for 2nd position. Hornish, who won the first 2 races, has been a little bit off the pace. He may be ready to reassert himself as we now see a battle for that position, that 2nd spot.
That's Robbie Buell just went around Scott Sharp.
What happened there was a couple of guys had to get out of the throttle. Ray got out of the throttle, and he lost a lot of ground. Sharp almost caught him. When Sharp caught him, then he had to get out of the throttle. That let Buell get by. When you lose momentum by just lifting a little bit on this racetrack, it makes a huge difference in speed at the end of the straightaway.
On board with Buddy Lazier, who's running back in the 5th position. Up ahead is Scott Sharp, also Buell, Ray, and the leader of the race, Hornish. We're checking the speeds here at the line, and it would appear that Sam Hornish is still the fastest car on the racetrack. Indeed, Buell is 3rd quickest, and look who's 2nd. Way back in the pack is Jeff Ward, who's running in 14th spot right now, but the 2nd fastest car on the racetrack with a lap that last time of 161.9.
Well, Sam Hornish was far and away the fastest car on the track that last lap, nearly 4 miles an hour.
Buell is going for the 2nd position and is going to take it. Wow, a good battle for 2nd there as Greg Ray and Robbie Buell went at it, but Buell came away with 2nd. And now we go on board with Scott Sharp once again.
You can hear him lift right in the middle of the corner. They put
Buddy in your mirrors, looking inside, clear behind him.
That's Buddy Lazier, who just went around Scott Sharp. And so Sam Hornish lengthens his lead now to almost 4 seconds over Robbie Buell, with Scott Sharp, Greg Ray, and Buddy Lazier running in the top 5, and Lazier now beginning to assert himself a little bit. Sam Hornish has led 5 of the last 6 races this year, has now become the 16th different driver to lead here at Pikes Peak International.
Live from Poland, International Team Speedway. 12 countries chasing their sport's greatest prize, the Speedway World Cup. 7 days of fierce competition from the best in the business. That's 60 riders, including Britain's world champion Marc Laram, racing to reign supreme in the season showcase. The inaugural Speedway World Cup, coming soon, exclusively live to Sky Sports.
No, I don't think I have a window for you today. I got a Feng Shui consultant coming. Oh, that's him now. Gotta go.
Call me Zane. Let us begin. It's done.
Compac is more than just a logo on the BMW Williams F1 car. The race team's Compac Armada M-Series notebooks with Intel Pentium 3 processors enable them to analyze the car at the track and make decisions during the race itself. And Frank Williams to realize the team's ambition of winning the World Championship again. Business solutions from Compac.
I'd like a cheese salad bagel, lots of mayonnaise, pepper, no salt, no cucumber, lightly toasted, and a tall decaf cappuccino with hazelnut syrup.
What flavour bagel?
What flavour bagel?
Onion.
Now, there are 3 ways to find what you want. The book, the phone, or the net. Whatever you want, just yell.
It's been a good relationship. We've had good times and bad times. There comes a time when you just have to move on. I just don't feel the same way as I used to. I'm sorry.
With Auto Trader, you'll find your perfect partner.
We're all going on a summer holiday. We'll not let you go. Let me go. We'll not let you go. Let me go. We'll not let you go. Let me go. 'Cause I'm just a teenage dirtbag baby. Listen to Iron Maiden, baby. And it's high for me and you.
Hamilton, and Hornish is tiptoeing his way around and finally gets it done.
Yeah, he certainly did. He did a nice job. He just barely got on the outside. That's what you have to do. You have to run within the inches if you're going to run that outside group.
We understand that race control has radioed the Panther team, telling Sam Hornish to just be patient out there and not take any chances. He's already lapped Sarah Fisher, who's running 15th. Now that is Ayrton Dare, he's about to lap. He's running in 14th position. There you see some of the drivers that have gained since the drop of the green flag. Jeff Ward started 18th up to 12th. He's gained 6 positions.
You'll remember Sam Hornish made a couple of mistakes at Phoenix and Miami. He got very high, but he got by with both of them and won the race.
Outside, not clear.
Well, AB ABC Sports is giving you a chance to win a ride in an Indy car and a trip to next year's Indianapolis 500. We'll be revealing the Indy All Access Sweepstakes driver of the day later in today's race, so stay tuned. Sam Hornish with a 6 3/4 second lead over Robbie Buell.
You know, Larry, you mentioned Miami. This sort of reminds me of the Miami race where Sam Hornish just stormed away from the field for most of the race. It seems like the Panther team has a way of finding something the night before the race that none of the other teams find, and it allows Sam Hornish to run away like this.
And we're on board with Eddie Cheever, who now currently runs in the 6th position. Cheever started back in the 10th spot.
And Owen Snyder told me that they really planned on, and every time they've run here, last year when they won, they did the same thing. They planned this race in more or less 3 segments. They want to be fast on the last segment, hang on the first couple of segments, and they had a plan to run a certain speed, and I think he's doing that.
Greg Ray has gone a lap down. And Sam Hornish is just moving through the field with considerable ease. There's Eddie Cheever's statistics, starting 10th and now running in 6th spot. Jeff Ward also now a lap down as we look at the Firestone telemetry from Eddie Cheever's car. Up to
Everything looks good on the telemetry.
Almost a little over 100, make that 173 miles an hour before he had to lift briefly going into the first and second turns.
Now, the front straightaway is going to be faster than the back straightaway because it's 160 feet longer.
Sam Hornish Jr., with 27 laps complete, has the lead over Robbie Buell by 6 3/4 seconds.
Well, we talked about Sam Hornish just a little bit earlier on and how brilliant the youngster is. And again, looking very, very good, cutting through the field with ease, John.
Absolutely. I mean, I said he didn't need to go out for wins with the way the points were standing, but he's just walking away with it at the moment. I mean, the team obviously has got the car dialed in just perfectly. I think that he got away initially because Scott Sharp had to get off the throttle, and Ray sort of delayed them, and that gave him a gap. But I mean, he's still going away. And,
we haven't actually covered the fact that we're quite high up here as well, which is knocking the power down. They actually look slow compared with Texas, don't they?
And a big wide circuit doesn't help either, but they certainly look slow after Texas. But yeah, it's about 5,500 feet, and that's likely to punish them by 10-12% on engine power, so they're going to lose 60 brake horsepower.
Rob, how surprised are you that Greg Ray is already a lap down in the early stages? Is Greg Ray the pole sitter?
Yeah, well, very surprised. He's been on pole here 4 consecutive times and won twice, so he's obviously got some kind of problem, but hopefully nothing, because I think he should challenge if it's nothing too serious.
Okay, well, these are live pictures as we look at the racing continuing. John, your prediction, should I say, before we came on air was Eddie Cheever.
Yeah, because Eddie ran so strong last week. He was delayed with a puncture following the accident to Davey Hamilton, and he dropped back to 12th, but he came right back into the lead pack. And you know, the Infinity won here for him this time last year. So
it was the first win, wasn't it, for Infinity?
It was indeed, and only win. So you know, I've certainly got time for Eddie at this racetrack, and I think he's playing it very steady right now.
Indeed, we've got a bit of a battle going on a racetrack at this moment in time. Now, very quickly, Buddy Lazier, I got a bit of an each-way bet on as well. Rob, your man for the race meeting. We might as well get all the predictions out of the way while we're waiting
I was thinking Scott Sharp, you know, the guy who made the big mistake at Indy, but he's been running very, very strong recently. Of course, he's the winner at the last race at Texas. It was a bit of a fortunate win, but the Kelly team looked really well dialed in, so he's my man, I think.
He was down in 4th place last time I looked. Buzz Corking in 5th, and your man Eddie Cheever there in 6th place. He was holding out. That's quite it's okay for him at the moment. He qualified in what 10th place, I think it was today. So
and you know, he did the job off 11th place last time, so
indeed.
Yeah, he's there. So.
Well, let's go back to the track then and our live commentary team.
Back at Pikes Peak International, they're the top 5. Look at the tremendous battle for second position. On board with Buddy Lazier, and that's Robbie Buell right beside him. And finally, Buddy Lazier gets second position. He'd been stalking Buell for several laps, found the opportunity, and took advantage of it.
he was very patient. He had another opportunity, but he didn't force the issue. He knows that this is a long race, and he waited until he was sure he could make that pass before he went in there, stuck his nose in there, and got in trouble. He was very, very patient making that pass.
Now here is Buddy Lazier moving to the inside of Sarah Fisher, who is back in 16th position, 1 lap down.
They've had trouble finding the balance in that car all weekend. They just never have quite come up with the downforce package for this 1 mile racetrack here this weekend.
Buddy Lazier from Vail, Colorado, not too far from this racetrack, which is south of Colorado Springs, close to the town of Fountain, Colorado.
And Bob, one thing that Buddy Lazier and his team have stressed this week, they need a win. Currently 5th in points. It's the defending champion, but until they get a win, they feel as though they're going to be hanging around that 5th spot. To get a victory, they feel as though that would push them up to at least challenge for a repeat at the championship. So this Himmelgarn racing team really seeking the win today.
And Lazier goes to the outside of Richie Hearn and will complete that pass. Hearn is 15th position, down a lap also. There are 9 cars on the lead lap as Sam Hornish has lapped everybody except the 8 cars behind him. Unbelievable for this early in the race.
It certainly is. They've really got the setup put on that race car, and if anybody is going to get around him or keep up with him during the rest of the day, they're going to have to make some big changes on their pit stops.
Call Brian.
Down to about 154 miles an hour in the second quarter before back hard on the throttle once again down the backstretch for Buddy Lazier. And here is Eddie Cheever Jr., who is coming up on Scott Sharp. Sharp running 4th, Cheever 5th at the moment.
And again, Cheever has been one of those guys that hasn't been in a hurry to get to the front. As long as he's running his pace, the pace that they picked out, and you saw right there the track temperature.
Post the 81.
The track temperature is 142. I was just trying to listen to the radio there, but the track temperature is 142. The highest temperature the Firestone guys have ever seen was 156 here the first year this racetrack ran.
And race control is black flagging the 81 car of Billy Rowe because of the speed that he is running. He's running 133.6 miles an hour compared to the 150s for most everybody else. Well, think there's something new on TV this summer? When You Don't Know Jack. It's a good game show that's gone bad. Don't miss the special 1-hour premiere of You Don't Know Jack, Wednesday, 8 o'clock, 7 Central, here on ABC.
I thought that was Indy Racing Today that was a good game show gone bad.
I'm looking forward to that. That should be fun.
Jack or Rudy, you going to be watching that show?
Look at this. Yep. Cheever just makes the pass on Scott Sharp. Got by him going down through that corner, and Sharp just basically let him go once he saw him down there.
So move Cheever now up into 4th position, about 20 seconds behind the leader. Well, if you're just joining us, we welcome you to Pikes Peak International Raceway, the Indy Racing League in action here on the Pikes Peak Indy 200. 44 laps have been completed. Sam Hornish Jr. has a huge lead. He took over the lead on lap number 5 and has just driven away from everybody so far. We're averaging over 161 miles an hour. Buddy Lazier is second, followed by Robbie Buell, then Cheever, and then Sharp. Now the Infinities, Buell and Cheever, are currently running 3rd and 4th. Infinity won here for the first and only time last year.
Most of these teams plan a 2 pit stop strategy. If they can make it to lap 70, they'll pit around lap 70, 75 because of tires more than fuel, and then try to make it 2 pit stops and split it up evenly and make the other one around 140.
Harry, that's one of the things that's been an improvement this year for the Indy Racing League. The fuel mapping for both the Infinity and the Oldsmobile Aurora power plants allow these teams to really feel secure in making this a 2-stop race. When the first race was held here, there was a big question mark about that. Not anymore.
All right, let's update our stories now. The elements, well, we do have a rather stiff breeze, high temperature, both air temperature and on the racetrack. As far as holding your line, we've seen some pretty courteous driving out there so far. The Infinity engines, as I mentioned, 3rd and 4th. And right now, Greg Ray has fallen back to 12th position. He's a lap down. And Scott Sharp is in 6th.
And guys, Jacques Lazier, this car right here, just went to, I can't see it on the teleprompter, but he just went around Scott Sharp on the outside, which was an impressive pass.
And Jacques Lazier has come to 5th. He started in 13th. He's up to 5th. He said he needed a really impressive run to keep his sponsor Classmates on board. Well, he's having a great one so far.
Classmates.com came on for the Indianapolis 500 and have been with Jock ever since, and hope that they can stay around for a while, as Hornish now puts a lap on Scott Sharp, the 6th place car. Now, those Delphi cars of Sharp and Dismore look a lot alike. The way you can tell the difference, well, Scott Sharp's rear wing is yellow on the flat part, and Mark Dismore's has a black flat part of the wing.
Wow, I cannot believe that Sam Hornish has lapped all the way up to 5th place already. That is some truly incredible driving and an incredible setup on that car from the Pennzoil Panther team.
Wow, you can see right there, he's being very careful still.
Down to Jackaroot.
One of the co-owners of the Pennzoil Panther team is Jim Harbaugh, formerly of the University of Michigan, formerly of the San Diego Chargers. Now you're coming home to Detroit as a backup for the Lions.
Yeah, got a chance to go home, play in the state that I was raised and went to college, and looking forward to playing for Matt Millen's organization there.
What about the condition of Charlie Batch? Are we going to see you a lot, or do you think you'll be able to play most of the year?
Charlie's been real healthy so far, you know, gone through every practice and mini camp. He's doing a good job learning the West Coast offense, so you know, it's his football team. I'm there strictly as a backup.
Let's check in with Vince Welch.
Eddie Cheever is running 5th, but Cheever had radioed in and says the engine feels a little rough and he's got a push. The push they can deal with, but they hate to hear bad news about the engine. But Dane Hart, one of the engineers, says the telemetry looks fine. They'll just keep their fingers crossed and hope Eddie's just feeling some of the extra bumps.
Do you remember at Texas Motor Speedway, Eddie Cheever radioed the crew exactly the same thing? Maybe Eddie Cheever hears voices in the car.
Well, Eddie Cheever was in danger of being lapped by Hornish, but he's pulled away from him a little bit now.
5 cars remain on the lead lap here at 54 laps. We'll return with more of the Pikes Peak Indy 200 after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Welcome back. Well, Sam Hornish Jr. absolutely on the case there and lapping all the way through. What I want to know, gentlemen, and I mean either one of you can come in on this one because it bemuses me slightly. I mean, I know we're at altitude and the like, but we've got Greg Ray and Scott Sharp, the 2 front row drivers who clearly were going very well in qualifying and found a good setup for the car, going absolutely backwards through the field. John?
Well, I mean, right now that's inexplicable. I don't understand.
That's why I gave it to you.
Yeah, you know, it was very hot on Saturday. It was also very windy, and in fact they qualified about 4 miles an hour down on record time. Clearly it's not so windy today, it's not so hot, and those guys that perhaps went for a conservative setup are doing the business, whereas probably Ray and Sharp were a bit more aggressive. Maybe talking of aggression, maybe the little slap wrist business they had has had an effect as well. Who knows?
Indeed. Well, thanks for covering that, because I couldn't understand quite why that was. You got anything to add on that particular point before we move on, Rob?
Well, it's just the setup is so different from qualifying to the race, as John said, and it looks like Hornish's crew have got the perfect setup for the race, and the other guys were good in qualifying. But there's a long way to go. The cars are going to change, the track's going to change, things are going to change.
How could Sam Hornish's team have got it so right? And we're speculating, of course, that Greg Ray and Scott Sharp's team haven't got it right, but how could they get it so wrong, it would appear?
Well, the Panther race team is a very experienced crew. As I mentioned earlier, Johnny Rutherford's there. He'd be helping Hornish. We've clearly got a yellow at this time. And
we look like we've got a major problem here. The pit's shut, so they're not coming into pit road. So we're going. These are live pictures, ladies and gentlemen, and we can only assume that we have some kind of a problem on track there. So Sam Hornish Jr. was your far and away race leader. We're waiting to get confirmation of what is actually happening at the track at this moment. These are live pictures. And as you can see, we definitely have a yellow because they are slow. Pit lane is not open. There's a pace car out on the track to back them all up. What the reason for that may be, we don't know yet. It might be debris on the track, we might have oil on the track while we're away from the track and back here in the studio. So we'll wait and find out exactly what's going on.
Two hometown drivers doing really well there, Keith, the Lazier boys, Jacques Lazier coming in.
Indeed. Well, we lost them just for a split second there, but we will be back with them at the track in just a second. Temperature at the track, 142 degrees we hear Fahrenheit, that is.
Yeah.
Otherwise they'd be well cooked. 142 degrees Fahrenheit, that's very hot track temperature, Rob.
Sure it is. They said in there in commentary that the highest they've ever seen anywhere is at this track, 150 odd degrees, and that plays a big part in how the cars are going to change throughout the race. It's obviously also a factor that it's just hot there, and so it's going to play a factor in the fitness of the drivers and so on. So it's quite a unique track in that respect.
Well, let's go back and take a peek at what's going on at the track, and looks to me like we may have a bit of debris out on the track. Yes, there we are. There's a few bags blowing in from picnicking spectators, which none of the drivers appreciate too much. Let's go back to the track then and our live commentary team. Look at the mess. Someone's emptied a bin.
Who is second to Sam Hornish as the crews go to work on the cars. This comes on lap number 61.
No changes to the leader's car. He likes the way it handles.
You're clear. Just keep digging.
And Eddie Cheever got out right behind Sam Hornish Jr. If he stayed out and got his lap back, that's big for him and his team.
Yeah, he wanted to get out ahead of Hornish because the pace car would have picked up the leader and Eddie would have been able to go around the entire racetrack, but unfortunately Sam beat him out, at least unfortunately for Eddie.
Well, the Panther team has been very, very quick. Those guys have been able to change tires in just over 9 seconds, under 10 seconds a lot of times, so that's very tough to beat a team like that when they can do it that quickly.
By the way, Kevin Blanche, the chief mechanic on this car, spent a day fishing with Jimmy Houston recently, and you'll see that show June 30th on ESPN, so watch for that. Now, 21 cars were here this weekend, but we started with 20. Why is that? Well, it's because of Shigei Tori, who had a couple of problems. This was his second wreck of the day yesterday, and it came during his qualifying run. He had crashed earlier, and then during qualifying had that contact with the wall. Now, he was released from the hospital, but has not been cleared to drive. Jack?
Bob, you may wonder, where did Sam Hornish and the Pennzoil Panther team get all the speed that they're exhibiting today? Throughout practice and in qualifying, they really weren't all that strong. Well, the man behind me, Kevin Blanche, spent all last night going back through his documentation. He read the readouts, and he made some decisions this morning in the last practice session. I asked Kevin, what did you do to the car? He smiled and he said, I don't want everybody to know, but let's just say we made some major changes. Vince Welch, I think people would love to torture this guy behind me and find out exactly what those changes were.
Well, they made some pretty significant changes on the Buddy Lazier car as well. It's been a common theme up and down the pit lane. Downforce, more downforce. The track is very slick, so when Buddy Lazier came in running second, changed the tires, added the fuel, and put in some wing, trying to get that race car to stick to the track a little better through the corners.
Still under caution here at Pikes Peak. Debris on the racetrack has reduced our racing here at Pikes Peak International Raceway.
This Wide World of Sports update brought to you by Speed Pass. Today's way to pay. It's free from mobile.
Well, on this Mobile One update, we'll bring you up to date on some of the accidents and the drivers that were involved in them. Scott Goodyear at the Indianapolis 500, this crash.
Well, we've got plenty to talk about here in our own studio as well, so Bob will have to wait for us. Gents, let's talk about Robbie Buell. We've sort of glossed over him. Robbie Buell looked as if he was going quite well earlier on. He's a contender, isn't he?
Oh, without question. Again, Infinity powered. He hasn't had a terribly good season to date. This qualifying fourth was his best this year. Previously it's been eighth. But he's a good Jim Russell man, so I reckon he'll be there at the end.
That's why I put the question to you, actually, John. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
No, it's about time. It's about time he had a result. Sorry
to interrupt you, John. But we've got to go for a break, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you in a couple of minutes.
night.
Well, Mr. Hunt, the mother of all nightmares is on the loose.
I don't think I can do it. I mean, it'll be difficult. Very.
This is not mission difficult, it's mission impossible. Difficult should be a walk in the park.
You gotta be kidding.
Mission Impossible 2, now showing on Sky Box Office.
Are you the sort of person that's easily irritated in the morning?
It's ads like this that irritate me.
Well, now you can take the sting out of shaving with Nivea for Men Aftershave Balm. It contains vitamin E and
Who on earth writes this stuff? It's incredible.
To gently soothe and moisturize. So whatever else irritates you, it won't be your skin.
I mean, what do they take us for?
Nivea for Men Aftershave Balm. For men who dare to care.
It's good though, doesn't it? I think I might get some.
Conventional washing machines have only one drum. Your clothes go round and round. The new Dyson machine has two drums that turn in opposite directions at the same time, so your clothes move in a totally different way. This two-drum wash action is more efficient and twice as fast at releasing dirt from your cottons. And of course, with two drums, the Dyson will even wash a king-size duvet. The new Dyson washing machine. Two-drum, not humdrum.
I know you must find this very startling, but I would try to explain, but I'm not sure that you'd believe me.
Hello?
It's all right, I've got my mobile. Just needs charging.
Can you show me where your points are?
Sometimes I think the whole world is mad and I'm the only sane one.
Please, Jerry, shut up.
Yeah, put a sock in it, love.
Did you see my bag? It was right under my seat.
What do you mean?
My bag has gone. I can't believe this.
Well, it must be around here somewhere.
Everything is in there. Oh, it's going to ruin our holiday. I put everything in there. My purse, your wallet.
Oh.
Okay, let me think. I had it when I walked in. I put it down. Now it's gone.
What did it look like?
Okay, here's a white bag. It's about like this.
Take traveller's checks from a worldwide organisation that can replace them within 24 hours. American Express Traveller's Checks. Don't leave home without them.
Helmet, your first cap for Germany tonight. You must feel like pinching yourself.
No, never before the match. It is forbidden.
Welcome back. We'll go back to the track in just a moment for the Radisson Indy 200 at Pikes Peak in Colorado. Quick question to my gentleman here at the moment. The man on the move at the moment seems to be Jeff Ward.
No question. He started 19th. He's now running 4th. Good for the Glasgow boy.
Well, let's go back to the track. We'll speak with Rob in just a moment or two, but the action is at trackside. And Rob, what about the movement here of Buell? Let's talk about Buell again, because Buell is still in 3rd place, but Jeff Ward is closing them all down, isn't he?
Yeah, Jeff Ward's doing good. He's a veteran driver who's never had a IRL win, and this track has been known to give a lot of drivers their first ever IRL win. So maybe for Jeff Ward, he's a bit of an outside chance, but he's coming on strong.
It seems to be a wonderful opportunity. This track, the way it is, seems to be a wonderful opportunity for guys that we weren't expecting to be running at the front to be running at the front.
Sure, if you took Hornish out of the equation, all of a sudden you don't know where you're at. I mean, Hornish looks so good right now, but I keep saying things are going to change in terms of the track, in terms of the drivers. Pit stops are going to be a big factor. So,
although Lazia is he's not exactly on his shoulder, but he's not a million miles away, and we've got over half distance still to go yet, John.
One thing in terms of statistics, I know the Americans like statistics, but 3 years out of the last 4, the winner here has gone on to win the championship. So Hornish is looking kind of good.
We kind of had a little competition today, don't we, to trot those stats out. And that's a good one indeed. Okay, looking down through our lists of runners and riders. Felipe Giafoni.
He's another that's doing a good job here, as the commentator said, he along with Salazar, the only two guys to finish in the top 10 in all the races, and that's reflected in the championship status. Salazar running second, Giafoni leading rookie, and running fourth, fifth. Good effort.
Okay, good effort. I like that phrase. How do we see this track working out now, Rob, from this point onwards? We're nearly at half distance now. How's this track going to shape up? Who's it going to suit, do you feel, with the progress of the drivers at the moment?
Well, that's a bit of a difficult one to answer. Obviously, Hornish's crew have got it right just now, but and they are just they've just got the car beautifully set up. But I still think the Kelly team, with could come good. They're an experienced team, and there's only been a very short time since Texas to get to this race. So you need a very experienced crew behind you to prepare for a race like this in such a short amount of time.
That is a great point, seeing that there's only been a week between the two vastly different racetracks as well. Okay, well, let's hear from Robbie McGee, who's on the phone.
Recovering, and look forward to being back in a couple races.
Got a lot of metal in the leg?
Yeah, there's definitely some hardware in my leg. Hopefully I guess it stays in there too, so I just, hope it cures pretty soon so I can get back in a race car.
Well, let's hope so. Now, we mentioned that Sam Schmidt is having a substitute driver here this weekend with Richie Hearn. Cahill Racing has not entered this race. Now, are they going to before you get back, and when do you hope to be back in the race car?
I've talked to Larry extensively a couple times, and I know he wants to be back racing at Kansas City. He's not too big on the idea of going to Richmond with the new driver, and with the rehabilitation that we're working on, I think we can be ready for Kansas City, and that's what we're looking for.
Well, that's terrific. We hope that you're there with us. What do you think about Hornish's performance so far here today? This is pretty awesome, isn't it?
It's pretty wild. That whole Pennzoil team is a Panther team, and Sam Hornish, they've got their stuff together there. I mean, they're really just. It looks like he's easily driving around everybody, and I've seen it happen to me on the track, but seen this on TV here. I mean, they're dominating, and they've really they've got their things together.
Robbie, thanks for joining us on the phone, and again, we wish you a speedy recovery and hope to see you by at least Kansas City.
Okay, thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you, Robbie. Robbie McGee from his parents' home in St. Louis. On board, Mark Dismore here. July 8th, by the way, is the date of the Kansas City race, so we hope that to see Robbie back by at least then.
Now, guys, while we're away, it would appear now that Sam Hornish has lapped all the way up to third place. Sam Hornish, Buddy Lazier, Robbie Buell, the only three drivers left on the lead lap. Quite an impressive performance.
And Jack has an update on Sam Hornish.
Well, as you've been watching Sam Hornish, if you've seen his picture, you know he has a tiny little growth from his chin to his bottom lip. A new movie has come out starring John Travolta called Swordfish, where Mr. Travolta has the same sort of growth. Sam Hornish has been taking a lot of ribbing from his Pennzoil Panther crew concerning that. They have nicknamed him Sailfish, not Swordfish, Sailfish. Vince?
One of those cars still on the lead lap is Robbie Buell. Buell currently running third. He's complained a little bit about a push, but he's running extremely well. They made a slight adjustment on the first stop, but all looks good for the team Purex of Dreyer and Reinbold Racing. They say Robbie is not complaining about the car. It says it could be a little bit better. They know they're in for a long haul to try to catch Hornish.
And Buell is running in third position. Buddy Lazier is second, and we'll see how far Buell is behind Hornish as he crosses the line. He is 11.3 seconds behind. Raw Thunder of 6,000 horsepower, top fuel dragsters and funny cars compete in the Pontiac Excitement Nationals at National Trail Raceway. Check out ESPN2 for the final eliminations beginning at 8 o'clock Eastern tonight. For more, log on to ESPN.com. There's our track map. It's Hornish, Lazier, and Buell, the top three at Pikes Peak.
Well, Sam Hornish Jr. there, and Bobby McGee, it's good to hear from him, Rob. He sounds very well. He's at his parents' house. July 8th, though, I must say, Rob, is not very far away.
These guys have got some guts, don't they? You know, stick some metal in my leg and let me just get out there and drive the racing car. I mean, obviously it's very physical in these things, but it's different than road course racing where they don't need to brake and that kind of thing. So it is, you know, if you can put your leg in plaster and get in the racing car, they're prepared to do it. It's wishful thinking, I think, though.
I think so.
And not so, unfortunately, Davy Hamilton, because his was a much more serious damage to the legs. He's undergone a serious operation on Thursday. He's got another scheduled for next Friday. That's going to be a much longer haul.
Well, for those of you at home that are concerned about those gentlemen, you can pick up their email addresses on the net if you tap into indyracingleague.com, and you can even communicate with the drivers injured in Texas if you should so wish to do so. Certainly we have here at Sky Sports. Now then, we are looking at live coverage still of the Pikes Peak Radisson Indy 200, and we'll be going back to live commentaries in just a moment or two. But movers and shakers, Hornish, Lazier, Buell, the only three men on the same lap. That, to me, even though it's a fairly short track, 1 mile round, that is remarkable.
You know, we're not halfway through this event yet, and Hornish has lapped everybody up to third. That is indeed remarkable, Keith. And you know, the setup of that car must be just so perfect. Didn't make any adjustments in the pit stop. I thought when Cheever went past him, Cheever obviously has adjusted his car, and it looked like it was going better, but then very shortly thereafter Hornish came back by him.
I thought a point that Rob made before we went off back to the track a while ago was that there's not a lot of difference and not a lot of time between Texas and here to actually get the transition, to get these cars set up for a completely different type of track. Do you want to elaborate on that, Rob?
Well, yeah, sure. They go from Texas to this race meeting in the space of a week, which is the shortest gap they have. This is a 2-day race meeting, and they normally have 3 days. So drivers have commented that if they've got an experienced crew, they're going to be the type of crew that, if they're well financed, they're going to be able to adapt to this kind of track. I was making the point about the Kelly team, but they're not actually doing very well. But it is a factor.
Well, Sam Hornish is the man that's doing the business at the moment, so let's go back to the track then and our trackside commentators.
Sam Hornish Jr. continues to lead this Pikes Peak Indy 200 with a considerable margin over Buddy Lazier and Robbie Buell, who are running second and third. And Jack Arute, what's wrong with Greg Ray, the pole sitter? He's way back in 16th, 3 laps down.
You remember at the start of the race we talked about how hot it would be, how greasy it is here at a bull ring like Pikes Peak? A car can go loose very quickly. Greg Ray continues to fade, being passed over and over again. Quite simply, they are chasing the racetrack. The car continues to be loose no matter what they do. It's going to be a long day for the man from the Lone Star State.
He's running 146 miles an hour. The leader, Sam Hornish, is running 162.3. So indeed, the handle has gone away on that race car.
You know, guys, we haven't seen this much dominance since Crazy Horse decided to pay George Custer a little visit a few years ago.
I'm telling you. Buzz Calkins is running in 11th position, and Vince is with his dad, Brad.
Well, Brad Calkins is one of those fortunate fathers that gets a chance to see his son race all the time, so Father's Day at the racetrack, not really anything different for you, is it, Brad?
Yeah, I wish it was a little better. The race would be going a little better, be a little better Father's Day today.
How has the car been? We know you're running 11th.
Car was great. I don't know whether we broke something. We moved up to 5th, and we were running with the leaders, and then all of a sudden developed a horrible loose condition, and we've just gone backwards since then.
So far, not the most enjoyable of Father's Day for Brad Calkins.
He's now 3 laps down. Here is a battle for position, however, as Sarah Fisher takes the 12th spot from Buzz Calkins.
And it looked like Buzz Calkins just got out wide there, and he's picked up a push in his car, the way that he just slid out wide there. Wouldn't you say, Larry?
Well, there's 141 degrees track temperature. I think that's part of the culprit here, is that high track temperature. A lot of these guys just weren't ready for it. When it's that high, the slickness of the racetrack really makes a huge difference. These things kind of feel like a pig on ice. You're sliding around everywhere and you're just hanging on. And I think that's exactly what Greg Ray is doing right now. He's just hanging on, hoping to keep that thing between the fences.
Pig on ice? I never heard that analogy before, Larry.
Jason, you ever seen a pig on ice? Quite interesting.
I saw the Muppets on ice when I was a kid.
Let's go down to Jack Arute, who has an update on Lazier.
Well, it's not a case of a pig on ice for Buddy Lazier. It's a case of the dirty air. The air coming off the other cars as Lazier works race traffic is, and I quote, according to Buddy, just killing me. That is the most difficult thing, Larry, in a bull ring. And you've got to work race traffic, and the dirty air upsets your car. You can kind of become like a pig on ice.
Well, it certainly is. It's very, very difficult on these small tracks. You don't get much time to rest. You see Buddy Lazier, he takes his left hand off, kind of exercises it down both straightaways just to get a little relaxation. But you're really tense. You're really in a bind almost all the way around this racetrack. And when you get in that dirty air, it makes a huge, huge difference. It takes the air off of these wings, and it really makes these cars move around.
It's a good day for the Lazier brothers. Buddy currently running second, and his brother Jacques is currently in 5th position, although a lap down. And Jacques' best career finish is a 7th. He's done that 3 times, so he is en route to his best finish ever in an IRL race if he can stay up there.
And all these teams, it's a trade-off. You try to put as much downforce you can without taking away speed. But when you take away the speed, you know, when you put a lot of downforce in, you take away speed. Oops.
Scott Sharp, we understand, got way out of the groove, up into the gray part of the racetrack.
And what he has to be careful of, once he gets that high, you get marbles on your tires. If you don't get those off, it can be really scary for a lap or two. It looks like, though, he's back up to speed.
Guys, I was just talking with Robert Perez, his crew chief, about his race car today, and he said, we really don't have that bad of a race car. He said, Hornish is just so good, we really can't run with him right now, so hopefully they can either make up some spots in the pits down the road or maybe take advantage of some bad luck on Hornish's side, but if not, it's probably not going to be a challenge for the Sharp crew today.
I think that's the way with a lot of cars and drivers out there, Larry. They don't have bad race cars, but compared with Sam Hornish, they're nothing.
Well, he's certainly at a different level. They've certainly found something in their setups on the mile racetracks whether they're putting more downforce in than everybody else or whether they've just found a balance with that race car that nobody else has been able to find. But they've certainly been miles above everybody at every mile so far this year.
19 cars are still running, only one. Billy Rowe has dropped out of the race. Didier Andre running back in 19th position, and Donnie Beechler, who has had problems for A.J. Foyt, is in 18th. We're on board with Sam Hornish Jr. as he continues his domination, now leading Buddy Lazier by 11 seconds. More after these messages and a word from our ABC stations.
Tour of Australia continues. Game 4 and the next chance to bare their teeth. Australia A versus the Lions. Sponsored by Zurich. Tuesday at 10 live on Sky Sports 1.
And if anyone knows of any good reason why these two people should not be joined in matrimony, will they speak now?
Yes. Stop. What are you doing? This bride is not ready yet. She needs to evolve for at least a couple of million years. Haven't you guys ever heard of Darwin? Look, you rushed things. Not so good. Now the Grolsch is brewed slowly. Very good. Isn't that right, my furry friend? Grolsch. We only let you drink it when it's ready.
Learn Direct have over 1,000 centres, 400 online courses, and advisors on hand if you're not too sure about something.
Oh, I wouldn't press that. That'll print in colour and you want black and white.
Learn online, learn together. Learn Direct. Visit our website or call 0800 101 901.
To avoid the daily crawl, call AA Roadwatch on 401 100. Get mobile. Use your mobile.
Like a grain of sand that wants to be a rolling stone. I want to be the man I'm not, and have the things I really.
If you have electricity and gas from British Gas, you could get a discount equivalent to 22 days free electricity a year.
Something big is
civilians come home to electricity from British Gas.
Guys, switch to Mach 3. 3 blades for the closest shave in a single stroke. You'll love the difference. And so will we. Mach 3 from Gillette.
Now, Mach 3 has a cool new look. Cool Blue Mach 3.
My feet are killing me. Actually, I think I need to sit down. I'm not feeling too well.
Steve? Oh God! Could somebody help?
Would you know what to do if someone had a heart attack? Would they know what to do if you had a heart attack? For a free Heart Start pack, call 0870 909 0111.
World champions Australia flying high, Pakistan full of confidence, and England with everything to prove in a race to reach the showdown final at Lord's. The NatWest One Day Triangular Series, Tuesday at 2, Sky Sports 1 and Extra.
Welcome back to the Radisson Indy 200 at Pikes Peak in Colorado. We're under a yellow flag. We have 83 laps left to go. Eddie Cheever was seen to be dropping something liquid, and for that reason they brought him in. He's opted to change fuel and tyres at the same time. So we have had them all on pit lane, and we're about to go back, I think, under a green very, very shortly. So let's go back to the track then and our live commentary team.
And Sam Hornish Jr. took over, and he has flat dominated this thing, lapping all but Buddy Lazier running second and Robbie Buell running in third position. Billy Boat is now shown as another car on the lead lap in fourth, and the only car out of the competition is Billy Rowe. 2 cautions, both of those for debris.
And that's a strategy that Billy Boat is pulling off. We'll talk about in a second.
Next up is Richmond, Virginia at the 3/4 mile. That's going to be fun on Saturday night, June 30th. Then we go to Kansas City on July 8th. Nashville, a brand new racetrack, on July 21st. The season continues with our second visit to Kentucky Speedway in Sparta on August the 12th. The 26th of that month, we go to St. Louis for the first time for the Indy Racing League. Then a brand new racetrack in Joliet, Illinois on September 2nd. And we wrap up the season with a return visit to where we saw the incredible action last Saturday night, Texas Motor Speedway near Fort Worth on September the 16th. Here's Kevin Blanche as he reassumes his position in the Panther pit. You can see that not much change. Cheever did lose 1 position, dropping from 4th to 5th, and Jacques Lazier went from 5th to 6th position.
And those were both because Billy Boat stayed out. He did not make a pit stop. And he can run. Billy Boat can probably run another 30 laps or so before he has to make a pit stop for fuel. So he's hoping that somewhere in that next 30 laps there will be a yellow.
Down to Vince Welch.
Buddy Lazier came in for a stop. They put in some wing and they changed the tire pressure. He was real good on the first run, not good in the middle run, so they put the car back to the setup in which it had the first time around. Now, here's something to keep in mind. They say that Lazier's car, they believe, is better than Hornish's at the end of the run, but Sam's car is so much better at the beginning of the run. He's gaining so much more track position. Doesn't make up for the better car at the end of the run. So Jack Arute, Sam Hornish looking pretty good right now, if even the Lazier camp is counting him as a leader.
Well, let's check in with Kevin Blanche. Kevin, you wouldn't tell me what you did to the car. It was a radical change. People really want to know.
Nah, I can't lay in on that, Jack. It's we've come to Pikes Peak and we've struggled every time we've been here. Sammy promised he'd lap the field for us, so we're going to see what happens. The Pennzoil Panther car is running really good right now. I mean, we just, we made a call this morning, and it seems to be working pretty good right now.
One of the things about this Pennzoil Panther team is they are not afraid, Larry Rice, to go radical at the last minute.
Well, and they were pretty mediocre all day yesterday. They didn't really run that good. So sometimes when you have to make a big change, it's always scary, though, to do that, because if you make a big change and it's wrong, you can go backwards like Greg Ray did just as fast as you go forwards.
Did Kevin Blanche say it's running fairly good right now or something like that?
Right.
Jeez. We've been talking about how he might lap the field. If he did, it would be the 3rd time in history that a leader has finished on the same lap by himself. That happened in 1997 at Texas when Ari Lyondike finished a lap ahead of Billy Boat. And it happened in 1999 also at Texas when Mark Dismore was on the lap ahead of Davey Hamilton. Now the pace car pulls off the racetrack and we get set for a restart. Green flag waves. The field accelerates. We're on board with Buddy Lazier as he goes to the outside of Eddie Cheever.
Yeah, and that was pretty easy. Eddie Cheever obviously got trouble.
There are 4 cars between second place Lazier and the leader Hornish. And Sarah Fisher up ahead, also Giafoni. The interval there is active. 1.525 seconds. Moves to the inside of Sarah Fisher.
Right now, it doesn't appear that he's too far off the mark with Hornish. His last lap was faster than Hornish's lap, so if he can get through this lap traffic, he may make a race out of this yet.
And his last lap was 155.7, and Hornish was 155.3. However, well, last time Lazier was also the fastest car on the racetrack. Hornish second and Buell third. But he goes to the inside of Felipe Giafoni, who is running in 8th spot, 2 laps down.
He makes the pass on him.
Well, that's Alonso Jr. right up there ahead. We'll go around Little Al, and it's just open track to Hornish.
That was a nice move by Alonso Jr. You can see he moved up the racetrack a whole car length. He let him go, knowing that he's battling for the lead.
Little Al is 12th, also 3 laps down. And the interval is stabilizing, about 1.6 seconds.
Well, and remember, while it's stabilizing, he is running in traffic all the time. So it'll be interesting when he has a clear racetrack to see what happens.
Interesting to see, guys. There's a car that's right ahead of Sam Hornish Jr. is none other than Jacques Lazier, the brother of Buddy Lazier, the man who's chasing Sam Hornish.
And he passed Sam Hornish, so that tells me that Hornish is not as quick as he has been earlier in the race.
I'm sorry, guys, I misstated that. The car in front of him was Ayrton Dare. My apologies.
Dare running in 7th position. Now just 1 lap down since he was able to pass Hornish.
Larry Rice, you're correct. Sam Hornish is not running as fast as he was before, and there's a reason for it. That last pit stop, and they want it to be their final pit stop, was right on the edge of the window if this race goes completely green to the end. So the team has told Sam, with the sizable cushion that he had, to change the fuel mapping, at least for a little while. When he really begins to feel that hot breath from Lazier, I'm sure they'll go up a notch.
We'll check the speeds at the line. Lazier faster than Hornish.
He's been about a mile an hour faster ever since that last pit stop. So if they want to maintain that lead, I think it's about time they get on the radio and say, hey, Sam, maybe you better turn that fuel back up.
Let's make a run on this guy and get by him.
Third fastest car that last lap was Billy Boat, who's running 4th. And the interval is really shrinking now. Let's see if Hornish is able to. Yes, he does pass Ayrton Dare, but so does Buddy Lazier. And so we have, finally today, a battle up front.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. Remember, Lazier says in traffic, his car doesn't work as well. Well, he's been in traffic pretty much this whole segment, and he's gotten through them fairly quickly. There were 4 or 5 lap cars between he and Hornish. Now then, all he has is Hornish in front of him. So he's going to have to work on him pretty hard, though. He's fast.
Sam Hornish, if he stays out front, has a chance at breaking the all-time record of most laps led in a race. Tony Stewart led 193 laps here in 1997. Right now, Sam has led 130.
All right, you're buying a car just because you're buying a car.
Hear him say he thought he had a little bit of push. He's reaching down there to adjust the sway bar a little bit to see if he can take that little bit of push out, because right now he's running almost the same speed as Hornish.
Larry, one thing that Lee Koonsman pointed out to me just a few moments ago, of course, Lee Koonsman, the team manager for Buddy Lazier, he said he thought the track may be starting to get a little more consistency in it. Remember when we first started, it was so slippery. They had a USAC event on here before this race here today. The track was really slippery. Koonsman said he believes that maybe the track is starting to show a little more consistency, and that may be helping Lazier as well.
And Vince, all of a sudden, Sam Hornish has indeed felt the hot breath of Buddy Lazier in second. The crew has radioed to him to change the fuel mapping again.
One of the reasons that was important that USAC Silver Bullet race ran before them, they use a different type of tire. It's not Firestone, so it does make it a lot greasier because the Firestone rubber and the other rubber don't match quite so well.
And by the way, that USAC race was won by Dave Steele.
Oh, you can see right there, see the front end go away from him. You can see him really turn that baby.
Made an adjustment too. Buddy Lazier is the defending Indy Racing League champion, but he has not led a lap all year. He's close to it right now, about a half second behind Hornish.
Well, he hasn't had that bad a year, except at Indianapolis, where they went on 7 cylinders from about lap 1, and down in Miami, where he crashed. Other than that, he's had a pretty decent season.
Finished 4th at Texas last Saturday night, moving him up 2 in the point standings. He is currently in 5th in the point standings. So we got 60 laps to go here at Pikes Peak International.
Buddy Lazier then on the move and chasing Sam Hornish. He's got him worried because we heard there the crew talking about remapping the fuel as far as Sam Hornish was concerned, because he was backed off for a moment, wasn't he, Rob? Do you think he could make it to the end? He was aiming to make it to the end without.
It looks like maybe they were thinking that. Now they've changed their mind. They've told him to get on it again because Lazier is right there, and so he's only got to have a little mistake, and all of a sudden what looks like it was in the bag, and he's lost it. So
tactics now coming into play. The teams obviously making their choices at this particular point, John. But it's a close call, isn't it? Because Buddy Lazier, he's on it.
It's got to be a close call on fuel. I mean, they fueled with 80 laps still to go, and it's a 2-stopper. So it's going to be marginal. Whether Hornish, those few laps where he rolled it off, did enough to get him through those extra few laps, who knows?
To the end, you think?
To the end. I mean, I'm sure that's what they're trying to do. That's.
Well, Buddy Lazier, he's not
picked it up again.
Indeed. Well, Buddy Lazier's not won a race since last August. I mean, he won the championship last year, but he's not had a race win since last August. So he's pretty desperate to probably get one and boost his point situation here. But Sam Hornish and the team have been very canny throughout this race. Do you feel they may have made a bit of a mistake, John?
Well,
in tactics, I mean, I know it's always speculative.
I think they would have been prepared to, if they still needed more fuel, they'd have been prepared to let Lazier go ahead, assuming that Lazier had another stop to make. That will unfold fairly shortly, but who knows? It's going to be tight.
Well, we saw Buddy Lazier earlier on in the programme exercising his hand as well. I mean, obviously the strain of hanging on around this little oval is quite considerable. All these drivers suffering from that problem, Rob, or are we just seeing Buddy Lazier taking a bit of exercise?
They all suffer from it. It's non-stop around here, you know, and they're going very, very fast and hanging on to a very, very heavy steering wheel. And so there's a lot more, physical element in this than you realise. Also, they're at high altitude, so there's a physical element there, and this is going to play a factor. Both the two guys at the front are fit. But, Buddy Lazier's a local guy used to the higher altitude, so perhaps fitness will come into it.
We saw Billy Boat there in 4th place. He obviously hasn't pitted, has he?
I mean, just going back to this hand flexing thing, it's a great way to sort of relax your whole self. It just takes the stress out of the thing, and it's quite important.
Well, let's go back to the track now because there's some action down there.
Just as you rejoin us here, Jacques Lazier brings the car to a stop. There was a report from Vince Welch the car was having oil pressure problems, and just about that time there was a puff of smoke from behind the car, and Lazier brought it quickly off of the racetrack. So we're under caution once again, and Lazier is very frustrated because he was running 5th and having a great day. Jack?
Well, just before that caution was issued, Greg Ray retired from the event. What put you out, Greg?
Well, it's just one of those bad days. Team Menard worked really hard this weekend, but our setup here this year is quite a bit different than we've had before. And we could hustle the thing in qualifying, and we never really had a chance to do any super long runs. And in the race, I mean, we thought the car would go to a push, and the car was just diabolical out there. Unfortunately, it was loose from the get-go, and everything we did just made it worse. And I had a hard time just keeping the car gathered up by myself. So in traffic, I mean, it was just hard to stay out of everybody's way. And at the end of the day, we were so far down in points, being 7 laps down. We didn't want the same thing to happen to somebody else that happened to me last weekend, so we didn't want to be a factor in that. We'll get our stuff straight. We'll come back.
We'll see you at Richmond.
Thanks.
Let's check in with Vince Welch.
Driver who had a shorter day than he would have liked is Billy Rowe. Billy, what happened?
Well, we knew we had a short fuse when we came. We lost oil pressure. We had a lot of miles on the motor when we started, and it just sort of went away. So we're going to just regroup and try to go to Kansas and happy Father's Day, Dad.
Billy Rowe, shorter day than he would have liked. He'll look for him in Kansas.
Well, this was the view from Scott Sharp's onboard camera. Mark Dismore. Jacques Lazier's engine let go just ahead of Mark, and Jacques is walking back to the pit area. Back in a moment.
What would it take for you to lie in a pit filled with hundreds of live rats? How much would we have to pay you to be dragged along the ground by a horse? Would you have it in you to escape from a car submerged in water? Confront your primal fears. Fear Factor starts Tuesday at 8, Sky 1.
Can I get you a drink?
Strongbow pint. Ah, loafing juice.
What do you want? Go on, naff off.
Why is BT Talk Together so popular?
The free local calls after 6 and on the weekend does make an awful lot of difference.
It's cheaper to phone and get the bus, isn't it, you know?
I don't have to worry at the end of the month about how much it's going to cost.
You don't pay after 6 o'clock, so they can be on the phone as much as they want.
We gas away for hours now, and it won't cost us a thing if we're making a local call.
That's all I'd say, value for money.
It's like being in a cab without the meter running.
I used to get a phone bill, it was like a roll of wallpaper.
To find out more, call BT on 0800 05 5555.
Because Nurofen travels to the site of pain, it works where it's needed. Which is why Nurofen delivers fast, effective relief and lets you get on with your life. Nurofen, targeted relief for pain.
This summer, they're coming.
Awesome!
To wipe that silly smile off your planet. Big ones.
Any ideas?
Little ones.
Snag one for science. I seen this movie. The black dude dies first.
Nasty ones.
Oh, that's like a big loogie.
They're getting under your skin.
We might have to amputate. Whoa, Doc! Don't take the leg! Setting for his crotch. Take it! Take the leg!
Evolution.
Hay fever. Thanks to the power of Zyrtec, you may just forget you've got it. Zyrtec hits hay fever hard.
We're all going on a summer holiday. We'll not let you go. Let me go. We'll not let you go. Let me go. We'll not let you go. Let me go. 'Cause I'm just a teenage dirtbag baby. Listen to Iron Maiden, baby. And it's high for me and you.
Welcome back. We're under our third yellow down at the Radisson Indy 200 in, of course, Pikes Peak, Colorado. Now then, Looks to me like Sam Hornish is on the home run somewhat. This yellow has given everybody an opportunity to pop in. They should be fueled to the end. They should be set up to the end. Now it's going to be a straight dogfight, John, between Buddy Lazier in second place and Sam Hornish there as well.
Yeah, and obviously the yellows help. They're going green now, but that yellow has certainly helped in terms of fuel consumption.
Okay, and it's helped our race as well because it's bunched them all up, and we have got a sprint to the end, barring any extra yellows. There it is, the restart leader, Sam Hornish Jr. He's on the run, but he's got Buddy Lazier breathing down his neck. Let's cross live to our commentary team.
Both Buell and Boat did pit, so they've got fresher tires. We'll see if the tires after 70 or 80 laps get that much worse. If so, Buell might have a chance to get up front.
Track temperature remains at 142 degrees here at Pikes Peak. It's been a beautiful weekend, though, albeit very warm and windy yesterday. Here is Lazier, and he may take the lead from Hornish, and does, entering turn 3. Wow, Sam Hornish Jr. so strong throughout the race, but now loses the lead, and jackaroos with the other Lazier.
Well, Big Brother just took the lead, and you've got to watch it on a monitor.
Well, I'm extremely happy for him, but at the same time, I'm very disappointed. Everybody, the whole classmates team, they worked extremely hard. We had a little problem there in the pits, but we just started working, and we had a great car.
What does it mean to you, Jacques, to finally get the nod and be back in the Indy Racing League as part of Team Extreme?
Well, it means everything to me. It's, the whole time I've wanted a home. I wanted a place where I could stay and just, get comfortable, work with the team. We just show that every single time we come out here, the progress just keeps growing and growing. And, all the credit goes to the guys here. They work extremely hard every day, every session, and we just keep getting faster and faster, Hopefully, everything will come together with sponsorship, and we'll be able to make it for the rest of the year.
Jacques and Angelique Lazier, also hailing from Vail, Colorado. Now that was Billy Boat that they just went around. Boat had to observe that penalty that he was assessed on the last pit stop. But Buddy Lazier now begins to pull away from Sam Hornish a little bit. The interval is up to more than 1 second. And again, these are the first laps that Buddy Lazier has led all year long.
Boy, this is great stuff too. Buddy told me this weekend this is his home track, and he expects good things from himself and his team here. I know he's real happy to be running up front right now.
Vince, what's wrong with Hornish?
Well, this set of tires not reacting to the track surface like the previous set, so said the car is a lot more loose than he's had to deal with. You just saw it wiggle there.
Oh, man.
All right, Sam, you're on.
That's a bad set of tires, guys.
Boy, you can see that again. That was a miraculous save, Larry.
He did a terrific job keeping that thing, because once those things wiggle, it's so difficult. It doesn't look like they move much, but when you're sitting in that seat, when that thing wiggles that much, it feels like you're almost ready to spin. But if you overcorrect, that thing will spin around the other way. So you've got to be very cautious when you turn that wheel not to overcorrect.
And remember, Hornish is only a sophomore driver. This is his second year in the league. Watch that wiggle, and way up into the marbles besides.
And that's the other thing that he did well. He was able to keep it out of the wall. Look at that thing wiggle. He's up in there, but he gets it stopped. He's hard on the brakes. He gets it stopped good enough that he doesn't get in the fence. Watch this. Oh, you can see that thing. He just... And how he kept that out of the fence, I imagine everybody in the pit area wants to know.
Wow. Well, he lost about 4 seconds in that little incident. He's now back 5 to Buddy Lazier. Robbie Buell in third.
And he lost about 20 heartbeats, probably.
Yeah.
Lost 5 years off the end of his life.
Billy Boat remains in 4th position, but only 3 cars on the lead lap right now as Ron Himmelgarn watches his driver, Buddy Lazier, out front, and that is Boat just ahead.
And he is 6 seconds behind you. You're doing?
Well, this is exactly the way they planned it. I'm not sure that when Hornish took off as quickly as he did, he really thought they were going to be able to pull this off. But I know that Dennis Latava and all the whole crew have worked very hard. They were here very early on Friday. They got everything done, and they even left early and said, hey, I think we're ready. Well, obviously they were.
Lazier's best finish here came in 1999 when he came home in 4th position. A year ago, as we documented earlier, he was out very, very early, finishing in 26th position when the engine went away. Well, we update the stories once again. The temperature is just about the same as it was at the drop of the green flag. We've seen some courteous driving so far. The Infinity's currently running 3rd and 5th, although Eddie Cheever Jr. is only on 7 cylinders. And the front row has not been a factor, as Greg Ray is already out of the race in 18th spot, and Scott Sharp, who started outside row number 1, is currently in 8th, 2 laps down.
Notice that Buddy Lazier, he does something almost every straightaway. He shifted gears that last time down there, as you saw him reach down with his right hand. Now then going down almost every straightaway right there. You can see that he takes his hand off and stretches his hand. He relaxes his hand a little bit just so that he can, his hand doesn't cramp up, because you're always in a bind with that left hand. 31 laps to go in this Indy Racing League event here at Pikes Peak International. He shifted gears again. What happens when we got in traffic, he shifted gears, and when he got out in the clear again, he put it back where it was to begin with.
If you play the numbers, Buddy Lazier started 5th today. He won the Indy 500 in 96 from the 5th starting position. He won at Charlotte in 97, starting in 5th position. He also won Phoenix last year from 26th, and Kentucky after starting in 7th position. But the 5th starting position has been lucky for Buddy Lazier. And there is Sam Hornish Sr. watching his son running 2nd.
Well, yesterday, Bob, during our qualifying show, I was down in the pits and I was talking to Buddy's wife, Cara, and she told me she was very happy when he qualified 5th, because she looked me right in the eye and she said, "We always win when he starts 5th."
Well, it's a 6-second advantage for Buddy Lazier over Sam Hornish, and about a 12.5-second lead over Buell. More of the Pikes Peak Indy 200 after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Buddy Lazier then, well, we said last time we came off a break, right on the shoulder of Sam Hornish, but I've got to say, Sam Hornish, save of the day. That wasn't just a wiggle, was it? How big was that, John?
That was big. I mean, that just illustrates to me what an accomplished young man this is. It was a big incident, and got up in the rough, so it would be some time before he could run again at anything like the same pace.
Well, the wonderful shot for me is this one. Just watch the correction here, ladies and gentlemen. This is massive. Well, I have to say, it looked like he was going to park it in the garage, the amount of lock he put on it just there, didn't he?
But it just goes to show, I mean, he did a great job there. The team was doing a fantastic job. One factor comes into it. They put a new set of tires on there. The tires aren't working really well, and the whole thing just goes to pot.
Yeah, that's really massively unlucky, isn't it? Well, I mean, we were talking about tyres and the temperature. Nothing much has changed. The wind has stayed the same. Track temperature has stayed the same. Obviously, the tyre pressure and setup has stayed the same. So why has Sam Hornish, what has gone wrong with these tyres? They're all on the same rubber.
I understand how Greg Ray lost effectively 60 seconds in 100 laps, and
it's a remarkable event, isn't it, as far as the changes are
that they could get it that wrong. But then if tyres can be really that out, then you can lose time, that's for sure.
Rob, you were talking earlier about the fact that Buddy Lazier, he has a good start at the fresh end of the run when he has new tyres and everything on. He has a good start right at the front of the run, and that Sam Hornish's car came good at the end of his run when his tyres were worn. Just explain to me what you mean by that.
Well, sometimes the way the car is set up, it'll run better when it's on more worn tyres than when it's on fresh tyres, so it'll get quicker towards the end of the run in comparison to the rest of the field. Sometimes it's the opposite way around, so you have to try and work out when you're going to be quick to gain your advantage. But Lazier's got it dialed in well now. Tires can just be inconsistent, and that's so unfair on the team. They're doing everything right. The one factor that's almost beyond their control, they put on a new set of rubber. They think it's going to do the same job, and it just doesn't.
Barring another yellow, we're going to the end here, aren't we, John?
Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, one of the other things just to note is that for sure Lazier's running 2 top gears. He changes down when he gets in traffic. He goes up when he's quite comfortable with the circuit.
We've heard a few cars ride on a rev limiter. In fact, I think we're riding with Sarah Fisher here at the moment. I mean, she's been right on the rev limiter as well.
Well,
that makes a big difference, doesn't it?
Oh,
well, beautiful scenes there from Colorado. Some people are interested in the racing and others go fishing.
Well, she's a very inexperienced driver, so she obviously, even with a good crew, hasn't managed to get the things set up so they're not on the rev limiter during the race as the car changes and everything. She's only 20 years old. She hasn't had very good races last few races.
We are great fans of Sarah Fisher here in the studio, I know that, but she's had a couple of big wake-up calls lately.
Sure.
Texas last week when the wheel smacked her in the front. I mean,
her season has gone away since her second place in Miami, and she was involved in that big accident in Atlanta, then struck by the wheel last weekend. Yeah, they've been beaten up on her, that's for sure.
Well, the Pikes Peak Indy 200 continues. Buddy Lazier is the leader from Sam Hornish Jr., who had a big whoopsie at 161 laps in. In fact, it doesn't come much bigger than that. We're looking from Sarah Fisher's car in 11th place at the moment. And I think we can go back now to our commentators at Trackside Live.
141.4 miles an hour. The sixth race of the 2001 Indy Racing League campaign here at Pikes Peak. Buddy Lazier currently the leader. There is Sarah Fisher as she tries to catch Al Unser Jr. for 10th position. Richie Hearn is running 9th. And we do have 3 cars that are out of the race. Jacques Lazier, Ray, Andre, and a 4th car now, Billy Rowe. And let's talk with Didier Andre. Jack?
A disappointment for you, Didier. What put you out?
Yeah, we were running pretty well. I had a very good car for the race, and I get the throttle pedal broke, so I had to pit. I had this problem since the beginning of the race, and I tried to play with it, but it was impossible, so I had to stop and try to fix it. And I went back on the track, and we couldn't get any position, and even when we fixed it, the throttle stayed on, so it was pretty dangerous. We prefer stop it, and it's going to be for next time.
We'll see you in Richmond.
Thanks.
And Bob, let me update you as well on the condition of Buddy Lazier's car is developing. They are looking at the telemetry and seeing that the engine is beginning to show some heat. They've asked Buddy Lazier to go to 6th gear. If I'm not mistaken, is that not, Larry, is that not kind of the cruise gear?
That is exactly the cruise gear, and I don't think he wants to get in it too much because Robbie Buell is on the move. He's 6 miles an hour faster than either one of the 2 guys in front of him, and he has caught Sam Hornish here in the last few laps like he was, sitting still. Remember, he came in and we mentioned because he might have fresher tires as the run went longer, he might be better than either one of the first 2 guys. So far, that appears to be the case.
Well, this is the battle for 2nd position. Sam Hornish and Robbie Buell will check their speeds at the line and see who's the fastest of the 3. Well, Buell is faster than Hornish, but Lazier is better than either one of them.
And it might be that once he catches Hornish, the tires won't be as big an advantage in the dirty air as they were on the open racetrack. But on the open racetrack, the fresher tires made a huge, huge difference. Uh-oh, here he goes.
Way on the inside.
That's Buzz Calkins that they went around, allowing Buell to get a little bit closer to Sam. It's about a 9-second interval from the leader, Lazier, back to this battle for 2nd spot.
The other thing you have to remember is that Hornish pitted on lap 116. So that means they've got to really stretch that fuel load. They've got to get 84 laps out of it in order to get to the end.
Oh, here he goes. He's got a good run coming down through the D-shaped part of this oval, but cannot get to the inside of Sam and cannot find an opportunity to pass.
And actually, while this is going on, it's giving the leader a chance to pull away from both of them a little bit. So I think he wants them to keep battling it out as long as they can.
9 laps to go. Make that 11 laps to go.
Well, Robbie Buell's got to figure out a way. Traffic is the best way.
10 to go.
So as they catch this slower traffic, he's going to try to pick a way to get around that Hornish goes. Hornish goes high, he'll go low to try to make the pass.
Here we go.
10 laps to go. Clear.
Here's the active interval for you once again. That's Salazar that Buell is trying to pass to the inside.
Yeah, he had to get out of the throttle. That'll cost him a little bit. With only a few laps to go, it's going to be very hard now to catch back up and make that pass on Sam Hornish.
Up to a little more than a half-second advantage now. While we're watching this battle, let me tell you about a few other drivers who've done well today. Felipe Giafone solidly in the top 10 again. He's in 7th. Richie Hearn could give team owner Sam Schmidt his first top 10. Hearn is now 9th. And Billy Boat is going for his 3rd top 5 finish in the Curb Agajanian Beck car, as Boat is in 4th spot and the last car on the lead lap.
Ayrton Dare running in 5th also had a very good run, one of his better runs.
And Cheever Jr.'s done well to hold on to that 6th position, given the fact he's running on 7 cylinders.
Yep. So Infinity's running in the 3rd and 6th positions as we near the checkered flag here this afternoon, and what's been a fast race and one that was just totally dominated for a large portion of the event by Sam Hornish Jr., but this last set of tires has not suited the car, and Sam has had a struggle. He's now running in 2nd.
Well, it doesn't appear that Buell caught him, but once he got up behind him, he doesn't appear to have anything much for him. He tried one time or twice, but evidently the tires on his car also have started going away just a little bit.
And guys, Sarah Fisher has just gotten around Al Unser Jr. for that 10th spot. Quite an amazing drive for her today, considering that they've been chasing that car all weekend, and it seems like she's turned it around for herself during this race.
Run for Sarah. There she is, running in 10th spot.
Well, she's not a quitter. You know, she's been out there fresh, and they ran a lot of laps trying to get that thing dialed in, and she's really been doing well.
And remember, she had a problem during qualifying yesterday that forced her to only have 1 lap.
Well, the whole team dived in there and fixed it. Really, they only got 1 lap, and they almost didn't get to qualify at all, but they started 15th instead of dead last.
Well, there are now less than 4 laps to go as Lazier crosses the stripe and completes lap number 197, 3 to go. His advantage over Sam Hornish Jr. and Robbie Buell. We'll check it as they hit the line. It is 9.1 seconds. So a nice lead for Buddy Lazier here in the closing stages of this race, and in a popular victory it will be, because again, Lazier is one of the home state favorites hailing from Vail.
And I know his dad's going to be real proud of Buddy and how his brother Jacques raced today. I'd also like to say a quick hello and a happy Father's Day to my father, Lauren, who's watching in Vancouver, British Columbia today. Happy Father's Day, Dad.
Now remember, Jack Root told us earlier that Lazier's car got faster on the longer runs. That's proven to be the case in this long run, and he just keeps pulling away from these guys.
The white flag is out. 1 more lap to go for Buddy Lazier. He takes it down the backstretch for the final time.
Turn 3.
And here is Buddy Lazier rounding turns 3 and 4. Buddy Lazier heads for the checkered flag and takes his 5th career Indy Racing League victory.
Thank you, guys.
2nd place goes to Sam Hornish by a few car lengths over Robbie Buell. And there is Bob Lazier, who can celebrate along with Buddy's wife Kara a victory here this afternoon.
Give a call to Greg Beck. Brought Billy Boat home in 4th because of his strategy, really, when they didn't pit that one time and got their lead back on the lead lap.
Well, looks like Buddy likes starting 5th.
They want you to take an extra lap.
Let's go down to Vince Welch.
Bob, we were just talking a few minutes ago about how good a Father's Day it would be to see Buddy cross victory lane, cross into victory lane, and he's done it.
He's done it for sure. It was great, absolutely wonderful. Okay, and the whole family is here, minus our daughter Wendy. She had a horse problem, but it is a very nice day. And as we mentioned in the earlier one,
Father's Day.
and this is his 2nd father right here. Okay.
And how about Ron Himmelgarn? Ron, you told me earlier today we need a win to get back in the championship hunt.
We really do. I mean, Tybo Coors Light car is just fantastic. It ran good all day, and last year we finished last. This year we come back and win. I mean, what a fantastic Father's Day, huh?
I know it's a good day for you too. Congratulations, Ron. And the Himmelgarn team celebrating today back in the championship hunt.
And Buddy has taken a victory lap, and he's unfastened the belts, and he's enjoying every minute of this trip around the track in which he is being saluted by the fans. It's his first win since that incredible last to first victory at Phoenix in March of last year. There are the top 10. Buell gets a top 5 finish. The last top 5 he had was at Las Vegas in April of last year. And there are 11 through 20 as Al Unser Jr. was put back in the 11th position late in the race by Sarah Fisher.
Sweet redemption today for Buddy Lazier. Blew his engine on the first lap of last year's race. This year he's the victor.
He is, and he's still making his way toward victory lane and still saluting the crowd. Victory lane is going to be right here at the start-finish line. And this crowd that's gathered here, they are on their feet and they're screaming and cheering for the Vail, Colorado native, Buddy Lazier.
He's taking his car four-wheeling.
Having a little bit of difficulty moving through that grass to victory lane, but he's decided to just shut it off and allow the crew to push it up to victory lane.
Congratulations, Buddy Lazier. Well done. Hard-earned victory today by the whole Helmergarn team, and well done.
Well, you can tell he's very happy. It's been a while since he's been in victory lane. They've had some tough luck this year in some of the races, and they were due for a victory, though. This team is a very good team, as they proved last year, and they had very quietly, they had things in line here today.
Buddy led the final 44 laps of this race, and he has now moved up a position in the point standings to 4th. He's out of the car, and the victory begins for, victory celebration, I should say, begins for Buddy Lazier.
We talked about you had to be the best handling car at the end of the race. That's exactly what they did. Lap 116, they made their final adjustments, and when it all came down, his race car was just a little bit better than Sam Hornish's was for the last 50 laps.
Here's Jackaroot.
Well, Buddy Lazier has finally taken the helmet off. How big a monkey just got taken off your back, buddy?
Oh, huge. It's just huge. I mean, this is my home track. I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to let myself believe it there at the end. Real gusty, hard to hang onto the car, but just an awesome day for me.
So much patience for the Tybo Coors Light crew and you behind the wheel. Car wasn't very good in dirty air, but you stayed with it.
Well, it was good enough. I mean, it was really good. My engineer did an awesome job. I had the best car out there today, you know, and Coors is one of our main sponsors. I'd like to thank Tybo and Coors. This is our backyard, and what a great place to do it. I just can't believe it.
It's Father's Day. What do you want to say to your son, Flynn, and what do you want to say to your father, Bob?
You're going to college, and Dad, thank you.
That's what happens when you take the lion's share of $1 million purse. Buddy, the first win of the season for this team, the first laps led for this team. What's ahead for the second half of the season for this Helmergarn operation?
Well, you know, who knows? We've got a great crew here, and I couldn't be prouder of them. You know, we've had a lot of difficulties this season, yet we're only 5th in points. So my team just keeps digging. I couldn't be prouder of them. We just keep digging, and there's still quite a long seasons ahead of us. So
congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's check in with Vince Welch.
Podium for the second straight week, and that is Sam Hornish Jr. Boy, it looked like you had such a dominating car early in the race, but kind of went away from you there at the end.
Yeah, the first 2 stops we had an awesome car, could go anywhere we wanted to. I think we just got an off set of tires that wasn't the same and made the car pretty loose, but you know, the Penzo Panther guys did an awesome job in the pits. We had a great car out there, and just let it slip through our hands. But you know, lucky to bring the car home and be in the top 2, and we gained a lot of points today.
You are lucky to bring it home because you had one heck of a save out there. Tell us about that one.
Yeah, the car was just, I went in the corner and the car kind of stepped out a little bit, and I thought it was over, but somehow managed to keep it going straight and not knock anything off the car, so pretty happy to have that going for us.
He's still in charge of the points race, looking for a championship for the Pennzoil Panther team. Sam Hornish, second today.
And his point lead is now 56 over Salazar. Sharp is third, Lazier fourth, and Giafoni to 5th.
Wednesday night action. To be a hitman,
I'm just a killer. I'm not the contractor.
you must walk the walk.
Just a little rule I have.
Talk the talk.
Vaya con Dios, amigo.
Dress to impress.
Nice shirt.
And train with the best.
And that, my friend, is the difference between being a professional and some greaseball punk.
Michael Dudikoff.
Just do what I tell you.
The Silencer, Wednesday at 10 on Sky Movie Max.
Velux roof windows, bringing light to life.
This is Lucky. Lucky disappeared last Tuesday after his walk in the park. Please keep an eye out for him. He likes chocolate and he hates cats. If you see him, please contact us.
Because we know the things you value, More Than not only insure your pet, we give you up to £500 towards advertising if it goes missing.
He can't sleep without his favourite blanket.
More Than, a new service direct from Royal and Sun Alliance.
At Blockbuster, we believe everyone should be able to take home the movie they want on DVD or video. Tonight, take home Meet the Parents. Watch Ben Stiller in a comedy of mishaps as he attempts to ask Robert De Niro for his daughter's hand in marriage. And because we buy more copies than anyone else, the Blockbuster promise means you can rent Meet the Parents now or get it free next time. Blockbuster, bringing entertainment home.
Especially for me. Check this out, Pitbull. Very tenacious animals. Predators. They see what they want, and they'll stop until they get it.
Hey,
You wanna dance?
Bacardi Breezer, now available in Cranberry.
200 laps of the Pike Peak Circuit in Colorado are now finished with, and the leader and winner, Buddy Lazier, in the closing stages, absolutely superb. John Kirkpatrick, I've got to say that Buddy Lazier got it all right. His team got it all right.
You would say that, wouldn't you?
I would, actually, yes.
He's your man, after all.
I wasn't going to bring it up, the fact that my money was on Lazier from the start, the fifth qualifier.
I mean, Buddy's struggle as the defending champion. In his words, he would say he's been struggling. He was third in Miami. He got a fourth in Texas. Now he's got a win, and as he says, the monkey's off his back. I mean, he's been saying all week, this is the race. I'm going to turn this championship around, this season around. So he's gone and done just that,
and moves up to fourth place now in the series.
And, you know, and looked strong, looked well in control, kept relaxing. I was interested in the two 6-gear jobs. That clearly served him very well. Good race.
Let's bring Rob in on that. Rob Murphy. We heard that the team talking to him about using the second of the top gear, the cruise mode, effectively.
Sure, yeah.
We also heard that maybe the motor was getting a little bit hot. Now that surely wouldn't have been, or would it have been, gamesmanship? Because obviously, talkback, everyone in pit lane can hear what every other team is saying. That's the wonderful thing about IndyCar. You can imagine it ever happening in Formula One. Secret squirrel in pit lane wouldn't like anyone to hear what they're saying. It couldn't be gamesmanship, could it?
I don't think so. I think they were just trying to get him to bring the car home and just use as little fuel as possible and just take it easy, because he looked like he had it in the bag, because Hornish, everything went wrong for Hornish. But yeah, I mean, it was a great, we heard him talking about how great it was to win at home, and that was fantastic. And he's a class act. Obviously defending champion. He's an Indy 500 winner. I think he's got a little bit of a task for the championship this year, because Hornish has what's a terrible day for him. He still gets second place. He still extends his championship position. So,
well, Buddy Lazier then taking the win. Sam Hornish in second place. Rob Buell, though, was in third place, and we can hear from him now.
And third place finisher, Team Purex driver. And I got to tell you, Robbie Buell, you were the fastest guy out there near the end of the race.
Yeah, we had made some changes to the car right there at the end, and it was great when I was by myself. And if I could have gotten by Hornish, we could have left him. But when I got in behind him, we had some dirty air. But all the dry Reinbolt Purex guys, things have been turning around since the month of May, and the Infinity Motor program, that's coming around. And we're going to win races with that motor, both Cheever and myself, before this year's out. So you know, we got to be on the podium. We did that, and we're going to win races this year. So,
what is the biggest change that you made with this team? Is it in terms of assignments?
Well, it is. I mean, you know, we've had some personnel changes the month of May, but also part of it's all the Infinity Motorsports guys have been working really hard at the beginning of the year, and we've slowly been working those bugs out and making progress. So it's a combination of that, but this team is starting to fire on all cylinders. Everybody's liking to come to work in the morning, so that's a good thing. Even the driver.
Bob.
Well, I'm glad they like to go to work because it was a good result. Let's take a look then at the confirmed result of the Indy Racing League round 6. Buddy Lazier takes the win from Sam Hornish. Robbie Buell in 3rd place. We know about that. Billy Boat, now there's a man that we didn't talk about too much, but he came home in a very solid 4th place in front of Ayrton Dare. Another good drive from him. Eddie Cheever Jr. eventually slipped down into 6th place. Felipe Giafoni finishes in 7th. That was a good shot from him as well. Scott Sharp, well, he was on the front row but slipped to 8th in the end after his great qualifying showing. And Richie Hearn, we're going to talk more about that man in a moment. That was his first time in that car, taken over from Davey Hamilton after that massive crash in Texas last week. So 9th place for him, first time out. That's got to be a good result. Sarah Fisher too. Well, the commentator said it at trackside. I'll plagiarise their comments. A great and gritty drive from her, considering the way things have been going over the last few drives. Those are the unofficial results, and we have no reason to believe they will be changed. Richie Hearn got in the car. I mean, obviously in circumstances, Davey Hamilton is laying injured. It was a big responsibility for him to take over Hamilton's car, but a good drive from Hearn.
Excellent. I mean, didn't see the car until Friday morning. He had a seat fitting, gets in, and the only time he drives the thing is in the 3 practice sessions and qualifying, so he's only done an hour and a half in that particular car. So it's his 7th IRL start, and yeah, you know, he did everything that was asked of him and a lot more besides. So the team will be well pleased. It'll be a bit of a boost for Davey in the hospital. Sam Schmidt will be happy.
And we wish Davey Hamilton absolutely well from the Sky Sports studio here. Now, moving back 1 place in the finishing order, Sarah Fisher. Now, she's had a couple of setbacks in recent times, but you've already said, only 20 years old. The commentator said it was a gritty result. Just how good a result was it for Sarah?
Well, that's great. She's under a lot of pressure. The only girl in the sport, really. You know, she's had a 2nd place this year. She's done great. You know, we talked about Greg Ray chasing a bad car so bad that he had to come in. Her problems obviously weren't as bad as that, but, you know, for a driver of such a level of inexperience, really, you know, that she was chasing the car home. She just didn't give up, and she just did another great job, and probably a nice consolidation drive for her. You know, she got hit by that tire in Texas, and
I like the words "didn't give up" because I want to come again to you, John. I don't know why I keep coming to you with the difficult questions, but Greg Ray, in pole position, he seemed to have given up. When we saw him speak, there was a very demoralised man.
You know, Greg Ray for me is a strange case. He's without question the quickest guy out there. He hasn't qualified off the front row apart from Texas last week. This year he hasn't qualified off the front row. Last year much the same, never out of the top 3 bar Texas again. He doesn't finish many races. He's won 2 in Atlanta. He's crashed 5 times in that 14 race long period, and he seems to, you know, he's either there or he's nowhere. And you know, maybe it's not all his fault. Maybe Team Menard have got something to say about it as well. But really not performing as someone of that calibre should.
Okay, well, one man that you tipped for the top this weekend, of course, was Eddie Cheever Jr., and we can hear from him now at trackside.
Jr. was joking with his Infinity crew that maybe you ought to run on 7 cylinders now and again because the car performed pretty well.
And it definitely improves the horsepower. You take 50. It definitely improves the handling. You take 50 horsepower out. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's an electronics problem or maybe an injector, but I started losing a cylinder right from the beginning, and the car would go in spurts and then fall back again, but it was a good race.
With so much that was happening out on the racetrack and such heavy race traffic, how tough was it to navigate today?
For me, it was very difficult because I had no acceleration. Yeah. I just had to keep on going in 4th gear. I had to drop down 2 gears to keep going, but it was a very busy day. It was very slippery up on top. Everybody kept their head together. It was a very fun race. It's a very tough place to come up in Colorado and run, especially when they have races before us because they put different type of rubber down and you really don't know what the car setup is, but it was a lot of fun. I'm still waiting for this year to start for us. So when is the next race?
Richmond.
Well, maybe Richmond. We'll do it in Richmond then.
All right, so his season starts in Richmond.
Well, let's talk about Richmond then, shall we? Since he's linked us nicely to it. John, the next track, it's a little one.
It's going to be a big eyeball job, that's for sure. They've tested there. Greg Ray was the quickest, 164 miles an hour. It's only 0.75 of a mile. Greg Ray says it's a nice, homey little track. What that means, I'm not quite sure.
16-second lap, very briefly.
Well, Ray's going to go quick there again. Can he do it in the race? But it's got to be worth looking at. It's going to be fantastic.
Indeed. Well, that's the end of the high-speed action from Colorado. In 2 weeks' time, we'll be back for the Sun Trust Indy Challenge, the first time the IRL cars will have visited the Richmond track in Virginia. We'll be bringing you the action live and exclusive in the early hours of Sunday morning, July 1st, starting at 1 a.m. on Sky Sports 2. My thanks to our guests, John Kirkpatrick and Rob Murphy. We'll leave you with some of the highlights from tonight's race. Good night.